This is the focus generic. So, Jacob, how did the idea of the story originally come to you for the short film, Larry? And what was the process like of adding things onto the script to make this film?
Yeah, so Larry, the short film, I mean, it really came out of me wanting to make something with my friends. I had this big costume I had made from this haunted house I used to run with my friends. This big gangly dude with long limbs, and I was like, let's take him since he's just sitting here in my garage. Let's bring him out to a parking lot and make a super scary short film. So that sort of was the small beginnings of this. And then, once the short really landed with people and I got to make the feature for Amblin, it was really a process of expanding on the character of Larry the monster, but also the characters that are going to be haunted by him, and really diving into who would be the most sort of appropriate people to be haunted by Larry, who sort of need devices to communicate with each other, and what if those devices turn on those people? So that was sort of the impetus of what created, the much longer version of the Larry story in Come Play.
And what is it specifically about the genre of horror and thriller that you enjoy making so much, and why you chose it for your first feature film?
Yeah, I mean, horror movies for me are some of the best theater experiences I've ever had. It feels like almost like live theater in a way, because you're sort of communicating with the movie. You're screaming with it. You're on the edge of your seat. You're biting your fingernails. And so, really, for me, like, I want to tell stories that cause audiences to feel something, whether that's fear in this case, but also feel a lot of joy and emotion. Horror movies are a great way to just get an audience to interact with the movie in such a fun way.
And can you talk about any new experiences that you had directing this film and how you might have approached it differently than past projects that you've made?
Yeah, I mean, I had so many new experiences making this movie. A big one being working with the Jim Henson Creature Shop on making a giant practical puppet as Larry. It was something that was important to me to get the reactions out of kids and the adult actors. That just wouldn't have been possible, I think, using primarily VFX. And so getting to work with all these amazing puppeteers and these designers and artists together on set, it just felt like a big community, and really the collaboration with them, the DP, production designer, costume designer, everybody. It was so much fun. And I honestly, I just can't wait to do it again.
And what was behind the choice of having the main character be on the spectrum, and why was it important for you to include in the movie?
Yeah, so Oliver being on the spectrum is something that was important for the film because he's a character that really needs his devices to communicate with the world. He specifically is nonverbal, and I've met a lot of kids sort of in my research of the film who are either, some of them are like Oliver, some aren't at all. I mean, you learn very quickly that once you've met one kid on the spectrum, you've only met one kid on the spectrum. Everyone's so different. But it was important to me that we have a character that is on the spectrum, but that's only one small part of who he is. He is also such a well-meaning kid. He is, really someone who opens their heart up to other people, who desperately wants friends. So for me, I think having a character who is atypical in the middle of this other, this very fun horror movie, I think it's exciting because I love characters that are not exactly like me. I mean, I love, feeling something for people that are different from me, and just doing it in a film that will reach a broad audience. I think, I don't know, it just felt important, and it felt perfect for this particular movie.
And lastly, what do you hope audiences might experience while watching the movie? And are there any sort of key messages or takeaways you hope people get from the movie?
I hope people watch this movie and just have a great time, first of all. I want them to enjoy the suspense and the scares. But at the end of the day, it's a film with a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. I hope that an audience, loves going on this journey with these characters, and ultimately, feels this connection between them. And the sort of overall theme of the film about people learning to connect with each other, whether that's through technology or not. I hope that resonates with people when they see the film.